I think he said, are you ready?
Hello everybody and welcome to Ernée in France for the 76th edition of the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations with me, Paul Malin, and Jason Thomas from Fly Racing. This is our Riders Parade show in place of the studio show that we normally have at MXGPTV.com and every round of the Grand Prix Motocross World Championship as well. But here we are once again, 12 months on from Redbud, and the atmosphere is already starting to build outside. It's absolutely crazy. Jason Thomas, this place never ceases to disappoint, does it? It's electric out there. We were just listening to all the audio through our headset just a moment ago. The fans are there. The teams are getting ready to come out. They're being wheeled around down the start straight, and then they'll be up on the old podium platform. It's already starting to build up to quite a crescendo, and it's already electric out there, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's early, right? We haven't even seen bikes on track really yet, and the atmosphere is ramped all day. Arrived early this morning, and it was pretty calm, and yeah, you can tell that riders are approaching. You see
Puerto Rico.
You see Puerto Rico, and I can't imagine what the rest of, when Team France gets out there, what it's going to look like.
Well, looking at the Puerto Rican team here this weekend, we go in reverse order, by the way. That's Rodney Gonzalez. He'll be riding in the MXGP category. American rider Jack Chambers will be lining up in MX2, a rider that we've seen running some rounds this year for the Bike It Dixon DRT Kawasaki team. And Eduardo Morales. And obviously, for these guys, and we say it every year, JT, that some of these come here for the experience, some come with the hope of qualifying, some unfortunately have no hope of qualifying, but when you've got someone like Jack Chambers on there, it gives them half a chance, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think, with the addition of the, we've had the B final and the addition of the C final, there will be some racing in their future. Hopefully they don't fall out of the back of the truck here. But it is always interesting. You have that third rider a lot of times, and this year it seems like two that I'm not very familiar with, right? So it puts a little bit more pressure on a rider like Jack Chambers to produce, to give them any chance.
Absolutely. Well, look, the next team up is going to be Poland. That's Jakub Ochewski, Damian Zdunek, and Jakub Kowalski in their three respective classes. Not really had a good qualifying run in all the years that they've entered this Motocross of Nations, but at the same time, they've had, they don't have the strongest nation of riders in the world. They had a period where there were some young kids coming through, but maybe they were in the B final and just missed out, things like that, or if they did qualify, they just scraped in. But a big weekend for some of these riders who aren't used to riding at this kind of level.
Yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity, right? I'm sure there's a lot of pressure, but if you don't have high expectations, I think you see the youth, right? These kids are young, and I think they just have to view it as an opportunity that they're going to grow into over the years and hopefully build a formidable team down the road.
While we're waiting for some other teams to come through, obviously we can't forget that Team USA are arriving here as the defending champions. They won for the first time since 2011, and they did that at home last year at Redbud. How big a weekend is it for Team USA, the supporters back home, and the riders that are representing this weekend?
Well, it's interesting. Last year I think they felt a lot of pressure to win on home soil. It had been a decade. This team feels different, right? There were a lot of challenges to put a team together. I don't think that they're going in as the favorites like they were last year, and I think they're out to kind of prove a point. And instead of being expected to win, now they can ride a little bit carefree, I think.
We're just looking at this team coming out now. Ukraine, Pavlo Kislyak, Dmitro Marchuk, and Vasil Kurosh. And again, another team, great to have them here and all the rest of it. But, they have qualified over the years on and off, a little bit here and there, but not sure what to expect from this weekend. Possibly going to go through the B final, if we're being sort of honest.
Yep. Yeah, I think any team like that, if these outlier teams, it's still a chance, right? Even if they don't get in straight through the time qualifying, that racing aspect kind of changes things.
Well, the atmosphere, as we said, is building now, isn't it? It has been the last couple of hours. I was here yesterday. It was very quiet out on the hillside. The sun was just coming up. It was beautiful, peaceful. And I even had a thought to myself, that's not going to last long. But you know what? Great weather. The first Dry Nations, and when you look at the weather forecast for the weekend, it's going to be the first Dry Nations since Maggiora 2016, because Matterley was wet, 2017, 18, Redbud, 19 Assen, 20 we didn't run, and then 21 in Mantova when it was kind of like a half nations, but it still ran. That was wet as well. You were there. And Redbud last year also wasn't dry. So a welcome return to the dry weather here. And where are we? 7th, 8th of October this weekend. So fantastic to have such high temperatures, because we're going to push in 30 degrees this weekend. Yeah,
it's very unexpected. But you look back at the last time we were here in Ernée for Motocross Nations, it was beautiful then too. Maybe a little cooler. But yeah, welcome weather. And I think it just allows the racers to play out, right? There's not this extra variable of weather that we've dealt with so many years in a row. And I know, speaking for the American riders, we haven't had a mud race in a really long time, so they might be out of practice. I think it just gives them a little bit more confidence to know the weather's going to cooperate.
And it's a harder pack track as well, you know, which kind of takes the... Well, puts the kind of pressure on riders like the Netherlands, Belgium, where they're more traditionally sand experts, but we know from MX2, MXGP, they can also ride the hard pack conditions. In terms of Greece, they're the next team to be presented to the fans here. A shorter loop around, but we will talk to some of the riders as we get along. In fact, we're probably like 2 or 3 teams away from speaking to our first rider. Obviously, me, Paul Malin, and Jason Thomas up here in our studio. Lisa Leyland down in the melee, the carnage, the absolute sort of clusterness that is going on down there at the moment. She will be tapping in with us, and when we get to Slovenia, we'll be having a quick word with Tim Gajser. But yeah, going back to would you say it's a more even playing field this weekend because the weather, the hard pack nature of the track? Yes, they can water it. Yes, it can get rutty here and there. But overall, when you think back to 2015, Cooper Webb did well, Justin Varsha did well, you know, just 2 of the riders just off the top of my head, they put in some fantastic battles and were, I won't say unlucky just to miss out, but, you know, France were on fire that day, but they certainly, you know, came close.
Well, it's interesting, you know, so many of the American tracks are similar, right? They till them super deep, they're trying to create a lot of traction, so if you get some of the more unique GP tracks, I think that presents a unique challenge that a lot of the Americans are going to struggle with. This track, it's a little bit easier to figure out. It's not so many off cameras. The dirt is something that they would ride on and practice on and race on. So I think all of those things, the weather and the dirt and the track being something that they can look back in the past and say, well, those guys I raced against, they were right in the mix at this particular racetrack. All those things will give them a little bit more confidence. Now, they go out and they're a few seconds off the pace tomorrow. Maybe that confidence disappears really quickly, but I think on the surface, everything's going the way that they would want it to so far.
Well, here is Team Slovenia, and the reason why we're seeing them right now is they grab a word down there with our trackside announcer. Austria were a late withdrawal, a couple of injuries that just came up last minute. Marcel Stauffer, the MX2 rider, was the only surviving rider, and it was too late to put a team together. And Denmark, of course, who we were expecting to see a moment ago, they also had a late withdrawal probably about 10 days ago. So we'll get, you know, we have to wait another year before we get to see them. But, you know, for Tim Gajser and his teammates, Jan Panzer, and the new replacement, Mika Bubnic, because Jaka Pekalai, their open class rider, who rode a couple of MX2 races later on this year, he was forced to withdraw because of an injury. So we've had quite a few teams, maybe 3 or 4 teams, with late changes of riders, even at the high end as well. Spain have had to go through that. Italy as well. We'll get and talk to those in a moment. But there is Bubnic. What an opportunity for him. Never ridden a Nations before, gets to the opportunity to ride with a 5-time world champion Tim Gajser as his teammate. How big a deal is that? I mean, if that was you and let's say talking AMA motocross and you were on the Nations with Ricky Johnson and people like that, you know, how cool would that have been and how big an opportunity is that?
Yeah, it's something, even in my career, I was never close to good enough, right? I think going back to maybe like when they had the World Cup and going, like there was talk like maybe I could make the team, but for these riders, yeah, you're alongside a world champion. It's something they'll never forget. He'll be able to tell his kids and grandkids about the time that he was on the same team at this prestigious event alongside Tim Gajser. So yes, you know, win, lose, or draw, I think it's a great experience for them.
You know what? I'm hoping that they can hear the atmosphere through our TV, because normally we get to hear the trackside noise and everything else, the fans and the atmosphere. Not hearing that at the moment, so it seems very silent. Hoping for you guys at home, you're experiencing the atmosphere, because before we came live on air, we could hear the noise and everything, and the air horns. Just starting to pick up a little bit again now, but if our sound guys, I don't know they're watching, if they could get in there and maybe just tune us in a little bit to everything that the fans a hearing down there, this will be fantastic. But another good team, well, another team that is hoping to do well this weekend, Czech Republic with Václav Kovar, Julius Mikola, who last year rode for FIM Europe because Czech Republic didn't send a team. And he's been riding in the 125 European Championship this year. And Jakub Terezak, who unbelievably riding in his first Motocross of Nations. So not a lot of experience within that framework, if you like, apart from Kovar, who is making his 4th appearance. Anyway, here's Lisa Leyland. Hopefully she's down there with Tim Gajser.
Yes, I'm here. It's very loud. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm with Tim. Tim, this is your very first Motocross of Nations since 2019. How much have you missed this event, and how much are you actually looking forward to racing here this weekend?
I miss it a lot, you know. The atmosphere that we get on MXoN is always amazing, you know. And yeah, it's been a while. It's been 4 years. So I'm really happy to be back to representing Slovenia. I think we have a quite strong team this year. So we will do our best, and then we see where we end.
Hey, Tim, it's Paul Malin up here in the studio with Jason Thomas. Good to see you. Good to see you back racing for Slovenia. We were just talking about how you had to replace one of your riders in the open class. Disappointing for Jakub Pekalaj, but great for Bubnic. What advice can you give him on his first experience at the Motocross of Nations?
Yeah, exactly. We were quite disappointed, you know, with Jaka getting hurt, but that's motocross. We all know that injuries are part of the sport, but now Miha is here, you know, he's also a great rider, and of course we can give him a lot of advices, you know. It's a kind of like a first race really riding outside of Slovenia, so hopefully he can do well, you know. Of course he's a bit nervous, it's first time for him, but anyway, I hope we can do well, you know. That's what we want to do.
Yeah, Tim, Jason Thomas, have you guys talked about like the math of what kind of score leaving Saturday that would take to maybe make the A final? Have you gone through scenarios of what that looks like and what positions all of you need to finish in?
Actually, we are not really focusing on that. We just want to do well, you know. I want to do well in my class. Jan is capable of doing really well also in MX2. He showed a great speed this year. And Miha just do his best, you know. We all know that for the qualification race, it counts just 2 results. So the third one is kind of like delating. So actually we need 2 good races. That's what we are aiming for, and then to be on A finals in Sunday.
All right, Tim, have a good weekend. All the best to you and Team Slovenia.
Thank you.
Yeah, in a moment we're going to talk to the rider from Czech Republic as well. Julius Mikola, the 125 European Championship rider. Lisa will be down there, and hopefully he's waiting in the wings anytime now. But yeah, fantastic. It's hard to imagine Tim Gajser hasn't ridden the Motocross Nations in all those years.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, this is a multi-time world champion. It's so great to have him back and to be coming into this form now, right? He's just peaking, just getting back to where he was. Maybe not for the team side of things, but an individual effort, he may be at the top tomorrow.
Yeah, well, look, Lisa is down there again. And you know what? There's a few here and there, but later on in this broadcast, there's going to be a lot of interviews coming thick and thin. Here's Lisa with Julius Mikola.
Julius, this is your second Motocross of Nations, but actually your first racing for your nation. How excited are you about this weekend, and what expectations do you guys have for the team?
Yeah, I'm very excited about this weekend, and my expectation about this weekend is just to enjoy and make the best. I can ride very good, so just show myself and show everyone that I can ride very good, and I think just enjoy it. Last race of this season, so yeah, I'm excited about this weekend.
Thanks, Julius. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Yeah, it's what, 17 years old, just racing the 125 European Championship this year with Yamaha MXGP. And great to see him here with his teammates Václav Kovar, who's had 4 appearances. Didn't qualify in 2019, but they finished 15th in 2018 with Kovar at the helm. And yeah, Slovakia are coming through with, I think we've missed Slovakia, but just give them a mention anyway. Pavel Repček, Thomas Kohut, Simon Jos, Luxembourg with Damian de Meiser, Jamie Heinen and Joe Stark. And then we've got Croatia coming through in a moment as well. So with Matija Kalava, Luka Kunic and Matija Sturpin. But that is Team Croatia right there. Yeah, going back, it's a shame that we can't hear the atmosphere through our headset, you know, that everybody is hearing down there. As I've said, hopefully it's playing out into the TV sets at home. But in terms of some of these teams, again, you know, great experience for them. some of them don't really know what to expect, because it is a unique event, isn't it? Whether you race US Nationals or whether you ride MXGP, there is a certain structure that allows for, you know, 2 races or 3 races, that kind of thing. This one here, you just get your free practice and you practice with your team, you know, with your class. So the MXGP class goes first. MX2 have their free practice. Open have theirs, and then the qualifying races are the same. You're not mixed until the race is on Sunday. Yep. And then obviously with 3 races in total, 3 riders per team, 2 races each, 6 scores. You know, your best 5 count. So it is unique. Yeah,
and I think a team like Croatia, we were seeing there, they know that they're not going to be in the race to win this overall event, right? They're realistic enough about that, but it's such a great opportunity to race with riders that they're heroes, whether they're from America or MXGP world champions, and they get to work together towards a common goal, and I think that takes some of the pressure off. A team like Portugal here, right? They're getting to be a part of such a great event like this, and I don't think they have, you know, to see the smiles on there. Some of the other teams, they're going to be feeling a lot of pressure. I don't think you're going to be seeing a lot of smiling today, right? They're going to be nervous, thinking about the weekend. A team like this, they can truly enjoy this and soak this in.
Last year, when we had this parade at Redbud on the start straight, you know, it was a very impressive crowd. The weather held out for that parade, but Ernée, for those who've never been here, is a lot bigger venue than you think, isn't it? The hillside there, when you stand down on the straight, is actually higher and longer than it appears on TV. It looks quite flat, you know, but the reality is so much different. So I think there's quite a lot of people down there already.
Well, and that entire hillside will be full tomorrow, right? It's this Coliseum stadium type layout here, and it reverberates all of that crowd noise back towards the riders all day long. And you speak to riders who have raced here back in 2015, it was so loud, especially when the French get out front. You can't even hear your motorcycle.
Sorry?
Yeah, it's just, and we're a quarter full right now compared to what will be on Sunday. It's a truly unique environment.
I wouldn't even say we're a quarter full. You will not see a blade of grass from one side of that screen to the other, and beyond that as well, top to bottom, left to right, and other places in and around the racetrack here. It is an absolute, if you're non-French and you're riding for any of the other teams, it's a cauldron-like atmosphere, isn't it? And it's electric if you're French.
Yeah, it is, and I think you have 2 options. You either can rise to the occasion and understand this is your opportunity to silence all those fans, or it overpowers you. You don't ride your best. It's one of those fight or flight situations for a lot of riders.
Just taking a look at the teams coming through now. Morocco with Humani Gabari, Noam Jael, and Maxim Simon. And actually the team manager, Saeed El Majad, actually raced here back in 2015 for Morocco. Didn't qualify, but you know, they do show up, they do take part on a regular basis without probably one of their strongest riders, Saad Suleimani, but they'll enjoy it. Haven't had too far to travel, you know, when you think of where Morocco is, just across from southern Spain.
Yeah, and they are incredible at the ballot too. Yeah. That's 2 years in a row with the first pick going into the qualifying day. So if nothing else, they have that part of Motocross of Nations absolutely dialed in.
Yeah, they've gone 1-1 this last 2 years.
Yeah.
In a moment, we are hopefully going to catch up with Paulo Alberto from Portugal. We saw them pass through a moment ago, but it's a lot slower, the route through in front of the fans and then under the tunnel and then up onto the platform, the old podium. Talking of podiums, that's probably one of the most iconic podiums with Ricky Carmichael. We'll talk about that in a moment. Here's Lisa with Paulo Alberto.
Paulo, this is your 7th appearance for Team Portugal. Your first was back in 2011, but we've not seen you since 2017. Firstly, where have you been, and are you excited to be back?
Yeah, so excited for racing for my country. Ernée is the first MXs of Nations I see in the 2005 here. And I'm so happy for stay here and go so hard in the track tomorrow.
Have a good weekend, Paulo. Thank you.
Yeah, Paulo Alberto, 7 appearances, dating back from 2011. He was 12, 13, 14, 16 and 17. So it's been a while since we've seen him. Looking like he's aging a little bit as well, but that kind of experience sometimes helps the younger riders, doesn't it? With Alfonso Gomez and Luis Otero.
Yeah, and there are many riders that we'll see here who have raced this event over and over and over throughout the years because they are legacy type riders for their home country. So I think there's so much insight and experience and experiences that they can share throughout the course of the weekend.
I believe this will be FIM Latin America, FIM Latam. And if that's the case, there you see the riders there, Miguel Cordovez, Marco Attenzana, and Joaquim Poli. Poli rode the Argentinian Grand Prix this year, scored points this time and last time in the MX1 category, MXGP category, I should say. So that's a mixture of different nationalities in there. Yeah, so it's quite a unique concept in that respect, because Cordovez from Ecuador, Antezana from Bolivia, and Poli from Argentina. So when you talk about how important it is to ride for your team, they're almost riding for a federation.
Yeah, and it's a totally different setup than most of the countries have. Very, very unique, and we'll see how they do. You know, they obviously have a lot of support when you cross the entirety of Latin America.
So next team up then, Iceland, and Manny Freyr Pettersson, Ida Ori Palmarsson, and Alexander Adam Kuch. Kuch riding for the first time in this event. So again, not a lot of experience in this particular team. Second time for Pettersson and Palmarsson. First time for Kuch in the open category. But when you look down the list of how many times they've qualified, they've never qualified, or certainly not in the very, very recent history, and I'm talking sort of like as far back as 2004. So again, some teams, they are here for the experience, they're here for the camaraderie, and just to put their team on the map. Whether they win, lose or draw, they're already putting Iceland on the map right now, whether they make the B final or not, or whether they make the A final.
Again, it's one of these countries where the name's not going to be super familiar to you, but the experience here, and they're going to go back to their home country and be better for it. They're going to share the news of this, and everyone that's there, a part of the motocross community in these countries, will be tuned in, and it does nothing but grow motocross across the globe.
Yeah, they didn't qualify last year in Redbud, and that was with Pettersson, who had his first appearance, and also Palmarsson actually making his third appearance, because he was Mantova in 21 and 22 in Redbud. So Mexico are next, and Arturo Humberto Fierro, who raced in the MX2 category for them last year at Redbud, Victor Francisco Garcia and Jorge Israel Rubalcalva. And Mexico, they've had a bit of a journey to get here, but at the same time, you know, looking forward, you have to say, to being here, and they have qualified in the past.
Yeah, it's you know, there is a lot of motocross in Mexico. A lot of American riders go down to Mexico for individual races, so it's great to see them here. It's a pretty long trip, right, to get them from Mexico here. A lot of support, and I'm sure there are a lot of people back home cheering for them.
When you look at the entry list, and Arto Humberto Fierro is the MXGP rider, and the team manager, Arto Fierro. I'm not sure if that's Fierro Senior or if it's a rider-manager situation there, but, you know, some of these teams are coming over. It's expensive to get here. They are operating on a shoestring budget. Probably don't have the best machinery either, because maybe they're borrowing practice bikes from riders here, from contacts, because that's another thing, isn't it? Not everybody has access to what they're used to back home.
Yeah, just looking at the challenges that Team USA faces, right, and all the resources they have at their disposal, it has to be just a daunting task to get everyone here and get good equipment, working equipment, and have a place to race out of throughout the course of a weekend.
Team Brazil, Eduardo Lima, Guilherme Brasilin, and Fabio Santos. 15th in 2018, this team finished. Well, not these particular riders, but Team Brazil. And for Eduardo Lima, making his third appearance. He rode in 2011, so he's getting a bit long in the tooth as well. 2017, he didn't qualify on both those occasions. And also Fabio Santos, his first Nations back in 15. He's making his sixth appearance. So great to see some of these guys coming back and experiencing again. So he came in 15. He was here the last time the Nations was held in Ernée. So he will have very good memories of that, and probably said to the Brazilian Federation, you know what, we have to go back there.
Yeah, and there's a huge motocross community in Brazil. I've been there myself. You think about riders like Enzo Lopes and some of the riders that are Supercross winning contenders. They have a lot of talent in there. So it'll be interesting to see what some of these younger guys can bring.
You know what, just thinking about the Motocross Nations over the last few years, this Ram kind of parade has been a great addition, hasn't it? Because initially they just used to walk them up onto the monster rig and then, you know, wave to the crowd and leave. But now they're just there, they're elevated, they're right in amongst the fans, and it's something that they can really experience. And if you do it just for the first time and you never ride for your country again, that's a memory that will live with you forever.
Yeah, and you know, you think of things like Formula One parade and things like that, and the fans love it, right? It gives them a reason to be here on Friday. The accessibility that goes on in motocross is like nothing else. You don't get to meet your favorite athlete like you do in the paddock here or something like that. So it's one of the unique and best parts of motocross is that your hero, you can actually meet and talk to them over the course of the weekend.
Right, I'm going to introduce this team, Ireland, in reverse order in terms of Open, MX2 and MXGP. Jason Mira, the Open class rider. Glenn McCormick, the MX2 rider. Your mate, Martin Barr, Barty Marr. There he is on screen. Yep. I know you love this guy. 17th appearance for him in the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations. His first was back in 2007 in Budds Creek, and we joke about it, they joke about it, the perennial B qualifiers, but one day they will go directly to the main, and they have done over the years as well, but they work hard, they come together as a unit, they get a lot of support. I've not seen the leprechauns around here yet, but that's not to say that they're not here. And they're probably already, glass half empty, you reckon?
Well, there are very few things as scary as seeing Marty Barr wind up next to you in the LCQ, right? He is just inevitable when it comes to this race, and 17 appearances is astonishing. That's up there with Tonel Leok and some of the all-timers for this race.
Well, absolutely. And when you think about it, 13th in 2007, Budds Creek. They've been to some places. They were 13th in Lommel 2012, and again in 18, Red Bud. There's been a few DNQs, there's been a few B finals in there as well. But Martin Barr, a perennial, rider in this competition. And the only guy that we're missing from that team really is Stewie Edmonds, who's ridden equally as many almost, like at least 11 or 12.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do. At some point, Father Time's going to win out and get the best of Team Ireland. Let's just hope it's not this weekend.
It won't be this weekend. He's chasing Tonel Leok's 21 appearances or 22 appearances. We'll worry about that in a moment. But you know what? I think news is filtering down that there's a parade happening. I think they've dragged them from the Kovo bar in the paddock, and they're just now making their way out to the picnic bank. Team manager here, AJ, Arminas Jasikonis for Lithuania. I was talking to him a few moments ago. That's him stood there with his back to us. He's got a big responsibility. He said just being a team manager for this weekend, for Lithuania, has already started to take its toll on him. It was more tiring than he expected it to be, but great to see him here. Here's your favourite, Martin Barr. Here he is with Lisa.
Hey,
Martin, this is like your 17th appearance for Team Ireland. Great to see you back. Do you not get bored of this? I mean, you're here all the time.
No, as you say, this is number 17 for me, and how could you get bored of this? The atmosphere is already buzzing already. To have my first one here back in 2005 to now 2023, and you still get them goosebumps. Once you get introduced to the crowd, it's absolutely fantastic.
Martin, it's Jason Thomas up in the studio. So much experience with this particular race. What is different about this team, and what insight can you share with your teammates that maybe have better results this time around?
Yeah, we've got a bit of a younger team, with Glenn McCormick. This is his very first Motocross the Nation in the 250 class, and obviously Jason Mira, who's been here before. So we've got plenty of experience. I'm just trying to give a bit of a helping hand as much as I can. But the big thing for us this year is, obviously the good ballot pick where we got gate number 3, which is obviously going to help us just trying to get into that first corner and inside the top 10. And, hopefully we can maintain that throughout the heat race and, try and make it straight in the final.
Just really quickly, Martin, it's Paul Malin up here in the studio as well. You talk about that gate pick number 3. Luck of the Irish on your side, hopefully, at the moment.
Yeah, I think for once we've got a bit of luck. Last year we were way down to 29, so it was really nice to see number 3 popping out because, as I said, it's crucial for us to try and get a good start and just hang in there, dig deep for as long as we can, and try and get over that line and make it straight into the final.
Have a good weekend, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Martin.
Thank you.
Team Ireland there. Great to see him here as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're off to a good start. Getting pick number 3 certainly helps. I have to be honest though, I'm cheering for them to be in the LCQ. It makes my Sunday morning to try to get into that A final.
He doesn't look a day over 39.
Fair enough.
We did see Lithuania there before. Demantas Jastuskas, Erlandas Makonis and Dovydas Karka riding for Lithuania. Of course, Arminas Jasikonis, the team manager. Didn't qualify the last couple of years, 29 2019, they only had the 2 riders in the Netherlands and didn't qualify last year either. But Jazduskas making his 3rd appearance, and Makonis with his 2nd, and Doidekaka making his 5th appearance for Lithuania. But we are hoping to see New Zealand come through in a few moments' time, and what a team they've got as well. Cody Cooper, he's been around the block a few times. He was here in 2005 when they had the Nations, when helped them to 4th overall. James Scott and Hamish Harwood, they had to replace their middle rider MX2 as well. So he was a late addition, but yeah, it's they're all coming in thick and fast now. And here is Lisa, I believe, with Cody Cooper.
Cody, this is your 11th Motocross of Nations for Team New Zealand. The first was right here in Ernée in 2015. Are you as motivated now as what you were in 2005?
Yeah, it's been a long time on the bike. Obviously, I'm getting pretty old, but it's hard to give up. Obviously, this will be the 3rd time I'm racing here for a Des Nations. Maybe the last, we'll see, but I really want to give it my all, and yeah, I feel like it's a good track. The Kiwis go good here, so yeah, we'll see.
Cody, it's Paul Malin up in the studio. James Scott makes his MX2 debut for you. What advice will you be giving him this weekend? And you're riding number 61. Has Jorge Prado asked for his number 61 plate back and his gas or not?
No, he's got number 1 now, so I'll use 61.
What about James Scott?
Yeah, he's going good. He's been putting in the work at home and stuff, and he came over, obviously did the GP in Meddesley Basin, but got injured, so he's feeling a lot better now, so he should perform a lot better here, and this track will suit him, you know, being on a hill and stuff like that.
All right, well look guys, have a good one, and hopefully straight to the main.
Thanks, Cody.
Estonia, Tanel Leok. What a career he's had, making his 21st appearance this weekend.
It's incredible.
And he rode 19 in a row from 2001 to 2019. That's incredible.
For those that don't know, the Leok family in Estonia is everything for motocross, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like the Everts in Belgium.
Absolutely, yep. So father down to Tanel's brother Igar, and you know, in the enduro world, was racing motocross in the enduro world, but they have such a legacy there. As we see Team South Africa come through, and you know, some of these names are not as familiar. Some of them I've seen race in America, right? We saw Harry Koulis that was on Team Estonia come over to America.
Right. Here's Tanel with Lisa.
Tanel, this is your 21st time representing Team Estonia at the Nations. How motivated are you for this weekend, and what can you expect for the team?
Yeah, I'm 21st time here for Motocross of Nations. Yeah, it's quite many times, but I'm motivated. Lately, last month, I had good training sessions. Yeah, actually, to be honest, like all year, most focus is my kids racing, but I did Estonian Championship and races here and there, and somehow I still managed to do good results, and I was selected for Team Estonia, and I still like to ride and race, and then that's why I'm still here.
Best of luck to the team. Thanks, Tanel.
Yeah, what a fantastic career he's had, you know, over the years and all the rest of it. But, yeah, 21st appearance this weekend. We saw South Africa unveiled a moment ago as well. Cameron Duro, Camden McClellan and Jesse Wright. The team manager there, Cheryl McClellan. But they're hoping for some good results as well. Cameron McClellan's had a fantastic season in MX2, you know, sort of like hanging around the top 5, just missing out. But, you know, for people like South Africa as well, you know, they come here, they don't fly their own bikes in. Again, they're on favours, aren't they?
Yeah, and you know, interesting. I'm watching Team Guam here. This team could surprise. They, you know, a name like Grant Harlan might not be super familiar to the MXGP crowd, but he has had a remarkable 2023 season.
He got 7th overall at Fox Raceway, the opening round.
Absolutely, yes, and he was around the top 12 all season long, whether it was Supercross or Pro Motocross. So watch for this team to surprise, especially when they just have Josh Faries in MX2 and they have Grant Harlan in the MXGP class. Now, Sean Lopanovic has a lot of experience, gotten a little bit older. We'll see how he does, but I think they could absolutely qualify well tomorrow.
And they've got a guy in their corner. I'm not sure if he's a team manager or assistant manager, but Doug Dubuck.
I've heard of him.
Yeah.
I've heard of him, yeah.
He did all right in California and all over the US. Great to see him here. He's been on a bit of a European road trip recently, riding a lot of the vet races and things like that. He's decided to stay on, do an Italian vet race. And he mentioned to me in Maggiore when I was talking to him for what should have been 5 minutes, but turned out to be about 45 minutes, that he was looking forward to just being here and being a part of that team. And you know, he came here when we were here last in 2015, so he knows all about this atmosphere. And for, you know, riders like you say, Grant Harlan, Paris, and Lipanovic, you know, there's a lot of experience that he can offer them. Of course, Lipanovic has obviously ridden for Guam in the past, but you know, there's a couple of newbies in there. Yeah,
it's just one of those sneaky teams. I think that's going to be a recurring theme throughout the weekend. Teams that aren't, you know, necessarily right at the top of your list, that you could see climbing the leaderboard on Sunday that you had nowhere near it.
Yeah, well, Varese making his second appearance alongside Sean, and Harlan with his first appearance as well, hailing from Texas.
And originally from Hawaii, Grant Harlan.
Why would anyone want to live there?
Crazy. Well, I think it just adds a little bit more flair to the Guam side, right? Like, he's not necessarily, you know, Texas, the Hawaii is not necessarily Guam, but it's also close. So I just like the little bit of flair that adds to it. Sean Lipanovic is actually from Hawaii, so there's a lot there.
I'll forgive you for missing that one. It went way over your head. This is Chile with Matías Pavés, Benjamin Garib, and Nicolas Israel. Benjamin Garib actually rode some EMX 250 rounds, European 250 Championship rounds this year with Bud Racing Kawasaki, and finished 7th overall in Turkey, went 6-6. Only did 4 rounds, so he elevated himself to 20th in the championship. Courtney Lloyd there, the team manager for Canada. And these guys have a pretty decent team, don't they? With Dylan Wright, Ryder McNabb, and Jess Pettis. What can you tell us about this particular team, JT?
Well, I'll tell you what they don't have is a good gate pick. They were the dead last pick in the ballot. So it's going to be a really challenging Saturday. I think for them, they just have to try to turn the tide of momentum, get back to somewhere inside the top 15 qualifying, because this is, I believe this is could be a top 10 team on Sunday. They just have to try to struggle through and make the best of a bad situation on Saturday.
Well, when you think of Dylan Wright, it's his 3rd appearance. His first one was at Mantova in 21 because he was already over here racing some of the MXGP rounds. He was in Redbud last year, and you know, he's what, a 4-time 450 national champion in Canada. He's, you know, he's no spring chicken, but he's still doing what he needs to do out there in Canada, and he comes here with a lot of experience, not just how to win, how to gate, how to prepare. He works hard. He's got a very level head on his shoulders, but he's also experienced this event on more than one occasion, like I say, making his 3rd appearance. But Ryder McNabb, just, what, 17, 18 years old, making his 2nd appearance, and Jess Pettis with his 1st appearance. But he's got a couple of 250 Pro Class championships under his belt as well. So they all come armed with, you know, winning under their belt.
Well, and I think Canada is one of the few teams that has their best possible team, right? If you're going to assemble your best riders from your country, they are one of the few that were able to get all 3 here.
And that rarely happens in this event.
It does, absolutely. It's such a difficult task between injuries, contract, team switching, whatever. It's just a really tough thing. So maybe they can make the most of that. It's just that had to be a difficult blow getting 37th pick today.
Just looking at Finland coming through here, and in that respect, you're just looking at Mira Siivonen, Emma Weckman, and Jari Avisto. And obviously, great to see them. Same team as last year. Kusti Manninen, the team manager. There he is with the hat, just recording everything for posterity on the phone, as everybody does these days. But Emma Weckman just coming in with a slight knee injury, which prevents him the last couple of rounds, kind of, you know, really going for that top 10 overall in MX2. But Emma Weckman, Jari Avisto, they will put in a performance. And you know what? 13 appearances between them. Siivonen and Havisto both with 5. Weckman picking up his 3rd appearance here this weekend. And it'll be interesting to see how they get on. No pressure on their shoulders. They'll just come and enjoy it. Anyway, here is Dylan Wright with Lisa. Dylan from Canada.
Dylan, Mantova, Redbud, now Ernée. This is your 3rd time representing Team Canada. How are you guys feeling ahead of this weekend?
Yeah, I think we're really looking forward to it. We have a great team this year, and it's my first try one. They're calling for good weather this year, so we're all stoked to see what we can do. And I mean, I've heard this MX of Nations is one of the gnarliest with the fans, and everybody getting crazy, so really looking forward to it.
Well, Dylan, pretty tough ballot today, drawing last gate pick. Have you guys talked about or gone down to the start to see what that's going to look like? Is it possible to still pull a good start from the outside, and how will that affect your gate picking qualification going into Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, we picked the ball. It's not ideal, but I think this start's pretty fair. I think from the outside we'd be able to get a half-decent start, and I think a whole shot's been pulled here from the outside in the past, so we'll see what we can do tomorrow.
And Dylan, Paul Malin, real quick. We were just talking a moment ago before you joined us. You've got your strongest possible team that you could field, you know, full of champions. Are you aiming top 10 or higher this year?
Yeah, I think that's the goal. I mean, obviously top 10 would be good, but I think we can do better than that. We got a bunch of good guys, and yeah, top 5 would be unreal. I think that's kind of our goal, and I think we can do it. We just need to obviously better our gate pick for Sunday, and obviously just kind of let it all hang out and see what we can do.
All right, have a good weekend, guys.
All right, cheers, thank you.
Thanks, Dylan.
Yeah, we just saw Finland going through there a moment ago. Norway are being unveiled now. Look, you see them there. Cornelius Tundell, Kevin Horgmo was just all smiles there a moment ago. He's had a fantastic year in MX2. You know, finally got a race win, got a podium towards the end of the year in Turkey. And Håkan Fredriksson now, this team, another team that had to replace their open class rider. Originally it was Håkan Osterhagen, but obviously Fredriksson, a late addition. They finished 12th in 2019, did Norway, and they'll be hoping for well, qualifying, and you know, maybe again fringes of top 10, maybe even sort of a top 10 result, because it's a track they know, and they're in familiar territory, being here in Europe, being at France, so that kind of thing can just boost you an extra few percent, can't it, Jason Thomas?
Yeah, and this is one of those sneaky teams that I mentioned before, a team that a lot of people aren't looking at, but they have a lot of young talent, and whether it shows up this particular weekend or not, you're going to continue to hear these names, and this team will continue to improve. So I wouldn't be shocked to see this team battling for top 5s in a few years, as that talent continues to develop.
Yeah, Cornelius Tundell riding in the MXGP category. Only his second appearance in this event. Finished 3rd in the European 250 Championship last year, was 13th overall last year in the Motocross Nations at Redbird, along with Kevin Horgmo, of course, and Fredriksson. So the same team in the end as what they had last year, but be interested to hear what their views are on this. Of course, Lisa will be getting ready to talk to Kevin Horgmo in a few moments' time, as soon as they drag him off the back of that Ram pickup truck. But looking here, Sweden, Alvin Osland, Philip Bengtsson, and Isaac Gifting. Good to see Gifting having a good season as well.
Yeah, this was a rider that I really thought he was going to have a breakout year, and I kept waiting on him to arrive because he was showing so many flashes of brilliance. I still think they're there. The talent is still there, so maybe this is the weekend that he can get back to form. And
we had him on a studio show in Sweden. Normally I don't put the home riders there just because of that. We'll talk about that in a moment. Here is Kevin Horgmo with Lisa.
Kevin Horgmo, last-minute change of riders. Håkan Åkesson is being replaced by Håkan Fredriksson. How is that going to affect the performance of the team and how the weekend will pan out for you guys?
Yeah, it's difficult to hear here. The crowd is going nuts, but yeah, it's really nice, and it's always good representing Norway. I'm proud Viking, so I'm looking forward to race here. Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay, best of luck for the weekend. Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah. Didn't answer the question exactly, but
I don't even know if he could hear the question. That's part of the problem.
What? Do you guys want to say it? Do you guys want to say it in the question?
No, it's okay. We're just saying, would the replacement of rider affect the performance, yes or no? Because you had to change your open class rider.
It depends, because Fredriksson haven't raced this year, so we don't really know how he will do, but I think on paper it should be a good replacement. Österhagen have raced, but I think Fredriksson can do good. He have showed the previous years that, yeah, he's a good rider. So, yeah.
All right, I'm going to use sign language. All the best this weekend.
I couldn't hear a word you just said. Have a good weekend, Kevin.
There are the Vikings.
Yeah, that happens. Tom Vialle, I got to interview him several times this summer. I don't know if he didn't like my question or he couldn't understand my question, but every time I asked him something, he would talk about something completely different. So that's what I felt like.
Is this Latvia?
They're having a party. That's all I know.
You know what? If it is Latvia, it's Paul Jonass, Jonass Ricelis, Carlos Ricelis. Carlos second in the 125 European Championship last year, 2022. Jonass, his younger brother, known as Killer, was third, but he won the 125 European Championship this year. His interviews post-race with Lisa have been absolutely legendary all season, and they are there, right there on the back of the podium. But Jonass Ricelis, first appearance for Latvia this weekend. Carlos has ridden for them in the past, and Paul's Jonass there with the hat, with the white hat. Obviously the more experienced, but actually, you know what, he hasn't had that many appearances, only his fourth appearance considering the amount of time he's been around, and 2014-15 missed a couple, came back in 19, not seen him since. Of course, a couple of those have been out of the States as well, so travel restrictions and things like that, but checking out the suspension on the on the ram there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the excitement that this race brings, right? If this was an MXGP round, you would never see that type of engagement and that type of excitement.
Yeah, because you know, this thing comes around once a year, doesn't it? Every 12 months, right at the end of the season, and when you've never been in that position before and you're there riding with your brother as well on the same team, and you got former world champion Paul Jonass there, they have a good, strong, solid team. I expect them to qualify at the first time of asking with 2 good results out of the 3, and I think they can be a top 10 team.
Yeah, well, they're a team that doesn't come in with pressure, they come with an opportunity, and there's a big difference there in how you enter the weekend, how you see the sentiment, right? They're excited. They're not nervous. They're excited. That's a big difference.
And of course, it'll be interesting to see how Jonass Ricelis gets on switching from 125 to the 250 as the MX2 rider, because, you know, making that step up, some like it. He's a big guy. He'll be riding European 250 next year. He's probably already been doing some laps on it, so I wouldn't be surprised if he is their dark horse. Yeah,
it's across the board. You look at riders like that, switching teams, switching bikes. We'll talk about Liam Everts doing the same thing. You don't know what to expect from them.
Right, let's go down to Lisa. She is with Paul Jonass of Latvia.
Paul Jonass, an exciting team for you this weekend. You have Carlos Razulas in the open class. You have Jonass, the killer, in the MX2 class making his debut. What are you all hoping for?
Yeah, you know, it's really nice to be in a team together with a really, really young and motivated guys. So, you know, let's hope it's going to be good racing, and we all can show the best result, and hopefully we can, have some fun. I think that's the main goal.
Best of luck for this weekend. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, we're going to be getting riders and questions coming thick and fast. We've got Great Britain waiting in the wings with Ben Watson. Then straight after that, Switzerland, Germany, the Netherlands, Spain, Belgium, Italy. All the big hitters are going to be coming through thick and fast. We will be talking to a member of each of those teams. The defending champions, they will be second to last. We always save the last team as the home nation. But for each of those 2 teams, it will be a question to each of those, just from Lisa, just because of the headset situation and whatever else. We may get time to sneak a question in from our side, but at the moment it's just a question each from Lisa. But, you know, we'll see how things go and see how long we've got left on the satellite. But, yeah, Great Britain this weekend, they're lining up gate 36 next to Canada. Not a good ballot draw for those guys with a young team.
Yeah, that's tough. It just puts so much more pressure on a pressure-filled event, right? And this team should do well. It's an interesting change, right? You look at historically what this team's had, whether it's Dean Wilson or Tommy Searle, right? This is kind of the next group of riders that could be representing Great Britain for the next decade, because they have youth on their side, and that also presents an opportunity, right? You think about what they could turn into. They could get Great Britain back to their winning ways.
Yeah, well, you know, we mentioned it, or Mark Chamberlain mentioned it in the press conference earlier today. A completely different team to what they had last year, because they had Anstey, Tommy Searle, Dean Wilson, you know, veterans of the sport now, and you've got Ben Watson, mid-20s. You've got Josh Gilbert coming in, who's a little bit younger, sort of like maybe 23, 4-ish. Conrad Muse around the same. Conrad Muse, Josh Gilbert, first and second in the British Championship this year. Ben Watson, he's had a top 10 here and there in MXGP. A lot of experience in there, but they do have a rookie, and it'd be interesting to see how he deals with the big stage.
Yeah, but they all do have experience, which I think is key, right? They don't have experience at this particular event as much, but across the globe, whether Josh Gilbert coming over to Pro Motocross, Conrad Muse, you know, he was the next big thing for a long time. Ben Watson as well.
Yeah, and here is Ben Watson with Lisa from Team Great Britain.
Ben, it looks like the team have had a bit of a spruce off. Both you and Conrad Muse have been on the podium before, but is it possible this weekend with Josh Gilbert?
Yeah, no, everything's possible with the Motocross Nations. You know, everybody only gets one result to drop, so if there's any crashes, you know, small incidents on the start or anything, it's wide open.
hard once before, and yeah, it was a strange nations in Mantova, but yeah, here the lineup's incredible, and I feel like the atmosphere already is, yeah, it's going to be an incredible weekend.
Have a good weekend. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, Ben Watson, a class winner in Mantova that particular year as well in the MXGP category. Single digits, the only rider in that class to finish on single digits. So that was a big thing. I still can't get over the atmosphere now. We're definitely hearing it through our headset. Have done since we got them to turn it up. But anyway, Ernée Tonus, are we getting ready to speak to him? Yes or no? Maybe not quite. Not quite. But anyway, Switzerland is next. There's Team Germany. Kickstart Kenny. Looking like it's Suzuki, Simon Langenfelder and Tom Kopp.
Yeah, we haven't seen Kenny for a while in this event. Great to have him back, and he gives such a lift to Team Germany, right? For a few years, it's just been, they've been an also-ran, hoping for a top 10. Now they could be a true contender again with one of the best riders in the world back on the team. And
Kenny's got a phenomenal record in this event, hasn't he? You know, they won it in 2012 at Lommel that weekend. He was second in MX2 in 2009 with a fourth and a fifth. And since they went to Denver, Colorado, 2010, 11, 12, 13, he won the MX2 class 4 years in a row. And great to see him back here on European soil, because he hasn't been here since that German round.
Yeah, when you see him walking around the paddock in the media tent, hugging everyone, you can tell it's just been a long time, right? These are people he grew up with, and he cut his teeth in this championship. So to be back here, I think it's going to be an incredibly warm welcome. I would guess that there are a lot of German fans that made the drive down simply because Kenny was racing.
Right, here is Ernée Tonus with Lisa.
Ernée Tonus, Team Switzerland is coming in with some serious experience this weekend. Yours and Jeremy's 11th showing at the Motocross of Nations. I think Valentin is his 12th. What is it about this event that you like so much?
I come in here, I know what you
What is it about this event that you like?
Everything. I mean, as a racer, racing the MX of Nation is very special. We can see the atmosphere is crazy. We're only Friday, and atmosphere is unreal. So to me, especially now, is really enjoying riding again, and I'm grateful to be a part of this event, and I'll just give my heart and enjoy as much as I can.
Have a good weekend. Thank you.
I mean, we can hardly hear now. Hey, it's just getting so much louder. It's gone up another level, and that's not even the start of it. You know, we've got Australia to come, we've got the Netherlands to come, we've got Belgium, we've got France. Did I say France? Home nation.
You did. And I can promise you, we won't be able to hear anything when the French are out there.
So there's Team Germany in the background, I think, maybe just getting ready to drop off. There's Team Netherlands. Of course, that's Calvin Vlaanderen. The same team as last year, but Vlaanderen going into MXGP, Koldenhoff dropping down to, or just shifting across, I would say, to the open category. And from that side of things, you know, a bit of a shift with the team dynamic.
Yep.
What does that tell you about why the team managed? Because I asked him in the press conference, was that something that he learned from last year in terms of where to put and, you know, better place their ride? He said not really, but there's got to be a reason for it.
Yeah, it's either a strategy, right, trying to match up and get a moto win somewhere along the way, or one of them feels more comfortable going back-to-back and the other doesn't, right? So it's either a strategy to try to get the best result, or it's one of the two is more fit.
Yeah, because obviously race 1 on Sunday is MXGP and MX2. Race 2 is the MX2 rider who goes back-to-back, and then, of course, Open and MXGP. Anyway, here is Kenny, Kickstart Kenny for Germany with Lisa.
Ken Roczen, hopefully you can hear me. This is your first nation since 2018. It's great to see you back in Europe. Was this a last-minute decision, or when you saw that it was on the calendar, you just had to do it?
I couldn't really, fans are so crazy, I couldn't really hear what you were saying. But this is my first real Motocross of Nations in Europe in 10 years. And just to be here on a Friday and to see this with the fans is unbelievable. The support I've gotten has been amazing. And, you know, it's a little bit of nostalgia for me being back on Suzuki as well since 2009 and 2010 in the GPs. And, this was a must race for me, and I'm truly honored to be back here and can't wait to line up tomorrow and Sunday.
Kenny, Jason Thomas up here in the studio. You've had such a fantastic end to 2023, Super Motocross World Championship and those things. What are your expectations going into the weekend? Obviously, you've watched MXGP. what's your personal goal as far as, you know, just come in here and win and remind everybody of the Ken Roczen that used to run around here and win races?
Yeah, so I didn't race much outdoors this year, but for some reason I still have it in me, and you know, I want to get some good starts and just put up against the best. This is the one race out of the entire year where the best of the best from every country show up, and I want to give some good racing, and if I can battle up front and you know, even as a team, like we have a really, really strong team, but we've also seen that you know, things can go very good at a Motocross of Nations and also very bad. So for me personally though, if I can fight for podium positions and just go until the checkered flag goes, really leave my heart out on the track and give the fans what they want.
Thank you.
Yeah, great to see Kickstart back here this weekend, and they've got a strong team, haven't they? Because you know, at least 3 times all the riders have ridden, and they've got a lot of experience. Kenny's won it before. They've got great atmosphere, camaraderie, and all the rest of it. And they could certainly be challenging top 5 for sure, maybe even a top 3. What do you reckon? I
really think they could. I think it'll come down to Tom Cock and how does he perform? How does his day go? Because the other 2 are race-winning contenders. And I also have an idea for Lisa. Just start asking him crazy. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite restaurant? Because if I can't hear you anyway, let's have some fun with this thing.
Just throw it in there. Yeah. What did you eat last night? Actually, Jet, I need to ask him what he had for breakfast because apparently that's doing the rounds. Anyway, here's Calvin Vlaanderen, Team Netherlands with Lisa.
Calvin Vlaanderen, this is your 4th appearance in this event. You finished on the podium twice, including your win in 2019. You guys are serious contenders, though, surely, this weekend. Can you hear me?
I can't hear anything you just said.
Say something, anything. How are you feeling?
You're serious contenders this weekend.
I'm feeling really good. It's so amazing to be here. I'm so grateful to be here representing my country. The atmosphere is unreal. You know, I'm just so excited to get out there. It's going to be a fun weekend. I look forward to it.
What's your favorite color?
Best of luck this weekend.
I think it's orange.
Orange.
It's orange.
Yeah, Calvin Vlaanderen, of course, second in 2018 in Redford. They went on and won it in 2019. Had a tough time last year, but they're back and they're ready to do some damage.
Well, and he has been great at this race. You know, the 2018, they should have won the event, right? He takes a rock to the eye there in the mud, but he's always performed at this event. And if they are to go onto the podium Sunday afternoon, he's going to have another great day. Glenn Coldenhoff, too. Glenn Coldenhoff is one of the best riders that this event has ever seen.
Well, he's got a phenomenal record. Second in 2016, 17, 18. They won it in 2019. Second again in 21. 5 medals from 6 goes. They were 7th last year. Another rider who will be hoping to bounce back with a vengeance this weekend for the Netherlands. In a moment, we're getting ready to talk to Jorge Prado from Spain. And they're still on the back of the truck there, look, because there's Ruben Fernandez. That's the Paco, the team manager. There's Team Belgium, look. What a young-looking team they have this weekend. Jago Keerts, a veteran of this event now, really with a handful of performances almost. Lucas Coenen in the middle in the white hat, a rookie to this event, but what a fantastic season the 16-year-old has had at Nastane Husqvarna, winning 5 motos, winning the Grand Prix, 5th overall in his rookie campaign. He was just in European 250 last year, and then of course Liam Everts riding a 350 in the open category.
Yeah, if you're looking for a team to bank on over the next decade, it might be the Belgians.
Okay, well, Jorge Prado is with Lisa. Here he is, the MXGP World Champion.
Jorge Prado, our MXGP World Champion. It's been a fantastic season for you, but this weekend is about the team. Will Spain be able to get on that podium for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, this will be a super special event. Obviously, Motocross of Nations, it's a special race, and with all these fans in France, it's going to be crazy. So I hope we can enjoy this event as much as possible. We have a strong team this year with Team Spain. So let's enjoy it. Let's put some good results and yeah, have fun.
Have a great one. Thanks, Jorge.
He sounded nice and relaxed in the press conference earlier because obviously, and he actually said he's probably going to ride even a little bit more relaxed because going for that championship, the last few rounds, tightening up a little bit, didn't stop him getting a whole shot or 2 though.
Well, and I think regardless of how this weekend goes, his year is a success, right? So that takes a lot of pressure off. He can come in and rely on the fact that he's your new world champion and just ride. He hasn't been able to ride freely most of the season because of that championship pressure.
What about Team Italy? We'll talk about them in a moment because we will grab a question with one of the riders. I believe it will be Andrea Bonacorsi by the time we get to them. Former winners, of course, they won on home soil in Mantova 2021. You were there.
What a scene that was.
What a fantastic scene it was. And it was the only trophy that Tony Cairoli hadn't won. So a 9-time world champion plus capping off his career with a gold medal in the Motocross of Nations. Fantastic. But they've got some strength and depth in that team as well with Ferrato, Adamo, and Bonacorsi.
Yeah, and I think there's just something special about winning on your home soil. So Italy goes back to 2021, and, you know, Antonio Cairoli's prodigy there in Adamo wins a world championship. Italy could be sneaky. They need things to go their way. We'll see how Bonacorsi does stepping up into that role as Guadagnini left. But there could be a team where there's no expectation, but they have a solid day. Ferrato's really good on the hard pack, as we saw at Majora. He could really surprise on the weekend. Have a sneaking suspicion they're going to be better than most people are counting on.
I have a sneaky suspicion that might have been Albi Ferrato stood up there waving the flag. Anyway, here's Lisa with Lucas Coenen, I believe, from Belgium.
Lucas Coenen, you guys have got a very solid young team this weekend. You guys pretty much dominated the MX2 class this year as well between you. Because of that level of success this year, do you feel any added pressure coming to this event?
Yeah, of course, we got a really good team. Looking forward to this experience with all the crowd and everything, and we will give our best, and hopefully it's going to be a really good weekend for us.
Lucas, just really quickly, it's Paul Malin up in the studio with Jason Thomas. Now that you are part of the parade, is the crowd bigger and more crazy than you expected it to be for a Friday afternoon? Are you now starting to feel what this event is about?
Yeah, of course. Looking really forward. All the crowd already on Friday. It's a mess, but yeah, will be a lot of people, I think, tomorrow and Sunday for sure. So yeah, it'll be really nice.
Enjoy this experience.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lucas.
Yeah, it'll be a real big mess.
Well, the interesting thing for Coenen is he has a win or die trying mentality, right? And if he's not at the front, he feels like he's letting everyone down. That's not what this event is about. He needs to put in solid performances, even if that means not winning. So that hopefully someone around him is reinforcing that concept, because that's a unique thing about this event.
Well, look at the people that he's got around him. Obviously, KTM Group, he's got Joel Smets in there, who he's kind of been working with a little bit during the winter and things like that. You've got Stefan Everts, Team Belgium. You've got Joel Smith, Stefan Everts, Johan Boonen, the team manager. There's a lot of people in that camp that know how to win, have won, and are looking forward to winning again. So in terms of keeping their feet on the ground, I think they've got a very good team around them.
Yeah, they just need to keep him calm. The rest will take care of itself.
Nah, be all right. Anyway, Andrea Bonacorsi is getting ready to talk to us now from Team Italy.
Andrea, you won the EMX 250 championship this year. This was a last-minute call-up for you to represent Team Italy. Are you nervous? Are you excited? What are you expecting for this weekend?
Yeah, I feel really good about everything. You know, the crowd is really special here, and I'm really looking forward to this event. Of course, I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm really pumped. We are a good team, and also first lady for 50 for me. I feel really good with the bike, so I'm really looking forward to this weekend.
Best of luck. Thank you.
Yeah, Andrea Bonacorsi riding a 450 this weekend. Normally rides 250 in EMX 250, the European Championship. So he's a big guy. Everyone's looking forward to seeing him ride that 450 this weekend. I think it will suit him well. Remember Jago Kietz last year, the waif-like Belgian on a 450, how he surprised people. Yep. I think we could get, if he gets good starts, Bonacorsi, he could be, you know, up there for a while at least.
Well, and it's just a great opportunity for him. He wasn't expected. He was an alternate. You know, Mattia had to exit there at the last minute, so he has to be thrilled. There wasn't even time to be nervous. He just has to be excited.
Yeah, it's not been weighing on his mind like so many riders. You know, when you think of Isaac Gifting when he was on our studio show in Sweden, and it was his first home Grand Prix. Normally I wouldn't have a rider at their home round, but he said, you know what, leading in were the nerves, not making a mistake, not crashing during training. Riders go through that when they know they're selected for the Motocross of Nations. You know, the last time he raced, or the last two times he raced, one of those he was MX European 250 champion in Turkey, had a weekend off, went straight to Matterley Basin, did an MX2 wildcard, got a top 10, and then, you know, next minute, oh, by the way, you're riding for Italy at the Motocross Nations. Like I say, he hasn't had time to be scared or, you know, fearful.
You have to process any of that. You can just show up and go give it your best, and he's coming on great form, right? He was your MX champion.
these guys, when they arrived at the press media center for the press conference, I spoke briefly. I said to Aaron, nice to see they got the hat, but I'm disappointed that you've not got like the stars and stripes, maybe a flag on a cocktail stick out the back and stuff like that. He wanted to, but obviously, you know, there are certain conditions in play around that hat and what it looks like.
Yeah, he's a walking stereotype there, Aaron is, and he's also team mascot. He's playing team mascot this weekend, but yeah, I think this American team is just really excited to be here, which is important.
Right, let's go down to Lisa. She's with Team Australia. And Jet Lawrence.
Jet, you won the Open class last year. Team Australia won the podium, 3rd overall. A lot of people are saying you guys have the strongest lineup in years and are firm favourites for the win. Would you agree that you could be lifting that Chamberlain Trophy?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully if we put in a good result for all 3 of us, we have a very good chance of being up there. I mean, we had a great result last year with 3rd, but us Australians, we always want more. So we're going to go and wear our heart on my sleeve and just ride our best, and hopefully we can put it up there.
Jet, Jason Thomas in the studio. Last year, that was your first official 450 race at Redbud. You had a great performance. This year, you dominated Pro Motocross Championship on the 450. Can you walk us through the mindset going into last year versus this year? I think the expectations are a little bit different, but how are you feeling last year versus this year?
Yeah, this year, obviously, I'm way more confident than last year. Last year, I didn't know what I was going to finish. So, no, we're looking forward to it, and hopefully we go out there and do a good result.
Best of luck, Jet. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
I know all of you watched from afar this year, but that kid was absolutely something to see. I hope he brings that same form this weekend because he was remarkable this summer.
Yeah, and he would have ridden a lot of those tracks in the US and in the lights class. And for the short time that they stayed in Europe before they went to the US, there's a track he never raced. Hunter raced here, finished 4th in MX2 back in 2017, I think it was, on the Suzuki, but Team USA. Right, Plessinger.
Yeah.
Do you say Plessinger or Plessinger? Because people...
he says Plessinger,
yeah.
So I say Plessinger,
okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they mix and match.
Well, America's very divisive. Yeah. That is one of the things it's divisive about.
But I remember just kind of witnessing his persona in the Monster Energy rig at the Nations in Redbud 2018, when his first appearance. And, you know, it was kind of like almost that nervous kind of tension. Yeah, excited, but kind of, oh, what are we doing here? He looks like he's about to embrace this one, take it at face value. And when you've got, if the other two are coming in like that as well, that's a dangerous place for, you know, the competition then, isn't it? Because these guys then come in, they go, you know what, this is it. Let's just go out, do our thing, no pressure, because it's been a difficult process selecting this team this year.
Well, and Aaron particularly had a great Saturday in Redbud in 2018, and then Sunday completely unraveled for him. Yeah. And that bad taste of Sunday hasn't left his mouth. He's been talking about it and thinking about it, and I know the disappointment that he left that October day in 2018. This is his opportunity, right? And it's been a long time coming, but this is his chance to right that wrong.
All the noise down there as expected for Team France. Hopefully I can hear our TV director in a moment when we hand down to Team USA and Lisa. She'll have a question for each of the top 3. Maybe we'll jump in with Christian at the end of it all because that'll probably be the easiest thing to do. But what an atmosphere. If you've never been to a Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations, maybe you went to the US and were thinking about coming to this one, you know, why didn't you book? Because there is kind of, you know, each to their own and everything else, but there is no comparison when you kind of come to one in Europe, especially in Italy, for instance, Majora, and here in France, could be here, could be Saint-Jean, because they are different in that respect, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a completely different type dynamic here. And, you know, looking at Team France, they're one of the teams outside of maybe Dylan Ferrandis that has their best team on paper as well.
Okay, here is Lisa. She is with the Americans, all of them.
Aaron, this is your second time representing Team USA. Can you hear me? No. Okay. Right, are you feeling a little bit more prepared because it's your second time?
Hey, man, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. I couldn't even hear myself yell out there. I'm having a blast. I mean, it's crazy to see this whole hillside filled with fans. I mean, they're obviously going crazy for France right now, but I feel like I got a pretty good rise out of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm ready to race. I'm ready to have fun.
So
Jason.
AP, it's Jason Thomas. We're up here in the studio. So you raced this race back in 2018, home soil. There was a lot of pressure I felt on all of you and your teammates that year. Can you talk about the feeling of that year versus this year and the things that you learned going through that experience that you can apply this weekend?
Yeah, man, we definitely had a lot of pressure riding on our shoulders that weekend, and you know, I kind of crumbled. So I got a lot of I got something to make up here. So this is my opportunity, and I'm gonna do it right. And yeah, I'm gonna try to win this thing. I'm gonna go have some fun. Me and my teammates, we got two the best teammates I could ask for, and yeah, we're ready to kick some ass.
Thanks, Aaron. Have a good weekend. We've got Hampshire Craig now. Christian.
Hopefully he can hear you. I like his attitude, actually. Yeah.
Okay, I really hope you can hear me. This is your first Motocross of Nations experience. What are your first impressions of the track, the fans, and the whole atmosphere here in France?
This is just wild. I can't believe this right now. Obviously, they're here for their hometown, France, but we're here to try to win this race. But I'm excited. It's a super cool experience of a lifetime.
Yeah, maybe.
Good weekend. Thank you.
Maybe get a quick word with RJ if you can, Lisa.
Okay, we've got RJ Hampshire now, just to grab a few words.
Ask him what his favorite color is.
What is your favorite color?
No.
I'm going to go with gold.
Oh, the first one that could hear it. The first one.
Okay, RJ, in all seriousness, this is your first experience here at the Motocross of Nations. What are your first impressions of it here in France, the atmosphere, the crowd, and everything?
Unreal. This is, wow. This isn't on the States right now, I'll tell you that. These fans are unreal. Hey, just get you more excited, ready to go for tomorrow. I can't wait.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that just says it all. All three guys blown away by what they're seeing, feeling. They're not even the home team here, but just getting caught up in it. It's very easy to do that. They'll enjoy it. They'll take it at face value. They'll go back now. You know, they'll get their massages, eat as a team, come back tomorrow. The serious faces will be on, but these memories will live with them forever.
Yeah, and this feeling, you know, I get to be very close to these teams and these efforts. This feeling around this team is very different. I don't think that they feel pressure. I don't think that that's been applied to them because it was such a mess to put a team together. It was an unexpected team, an unlikely team, and you can see that. You can see how loose Aaron Plessinger is, and RJ just wants to be here. He was going to be on this team in 2021 before the team was unable to come. So all of these guys are looking at it as an opportunity, not an obligation, which is a great aspect.
Well, we are getting ready to welcome Team France, of course. Romain Febvre, former world champion. He won that world title the same year that France won here in 2015 when he went 1-1 to win the MXGP class. Tom Vialle, back from the US, of course. He's been out there racing outdoors and indoors all year for Red Bull KTM. And Maxime Renaud, former world champion. So we've got three former world champions riding for Team France this weekend. We don't need to play the national anthem because they're already singing it down there. And that is passion, that is excitement, and there's a little bit of intoxication there as well, I think.
Yeah, they have a really strong team too, right? With a nod to Dylan Ferrandis, this might be the best team that they could come up with on home soil. You know they want to they went on a 5-race winning streak from 2013 to 2018, and they haven't won since. So I think there's a little bit of pent-up aggression. They know they're coming in as arguably the favorites, and I think they might unleash a spectacular performance on Sunday.
Right, here's Lisa with Team France.
Maxime Renaud, it's a big weekend for you guys. The fans are loving you. How are you finding the experience so far?
It's amazing, you know, like so much fans, so much noise. Everyone's behind us, so we're going to try to give our best and bring the trophy home. That's going to be the most important. So we're all in shape and ready for fight, so we're going to give it all.
Maxime, we're up in the studio here. It's Jason Thomas. How is the injury feeling? We know that was an issue at Matterley Basin. Are you back to 100% now?
Yes, I am back to 100% and I'm ready to fight. So all the lights are in the green, you know, and yeah, ready to give my best and to put the best Maxime on track. So really ready for it and try to make my country proud.
Have a good weekend, Max.
Thank you.
Thanks, Max. I do believe we have Romain Febvre here as well. Grab a few words with him, if we can.
Ask him about his haircut.
Okay, he's loving the crowd there.
Well, an interesting fact about Ernée, he's the only rider to beat Jet Lawrence on a 450 on a motocross race.
Wow, yeah.
Last year's Motocross of Nations. So something to hang your hat on. I know that's something he's thought about. I think something Jet Lawrence has also thought about. So watch that. If they get out together, I think Jet wants to kind of set the record straight there.
Okay. Are you ready with Roman? Not quite. Not hearing anything from Lisa down there at the moment, but
no one can hear anything from Lisa down there.
I think Roman and Tom got their haircut in Ernée.
They're crowd surfing now.
Anyway, Lisa, are you ready? Oh, national anthem.
This is an impromptu national anthem?
Yeah. Wow. What an amazing atmosphere down there. Of course, we'll try and grab Lisa in a moment because they're up on the stage area, the former podium. And, well, we've been hearing it. There's Gauthier, Paulin, absolutely appreciative of it as well. Tom Vialle there, and we're going to grab a word with Tom Vialle and Roman Febvre, of course, as soon as we can. I'm sure they've extended the time on the satellite link for us. But here's Tom Vialle.
Tom Vialle, welcome home. This is what dreams are made of. It doesn't get much better than this, does it?
It's incredible. So much fun here. It's only Friday, and we can see so much public, so it's going to be a crazy weekend, for sure.
Tom, it's Paul up in the studio. The last time you won your Grand Prix. This crowd already feels bigger and better than that weekend. Are you ready for it? And what are your goals today, this weekend?
Yeah, it's going to be, it's going to be crazy. It's a lot of fun. I think it's one of the biggest races in motocross in the world, so I'm going to try to enjoy, and of course my goal is to try to be my best, but for sure I want to win the MX2 class, so that's really the goal for the weekend.
Okay. Have a good weekend, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. Okay, hopefully we can grab Roman Febvre.
Those two had their hair cut together in Ernée, by the way. Ask them about their hairdo.
You know, I think one of the best things for Tom going into this weekend is I think he may get that MX2 championship bike back.
I think we're ready for Roman.
Roman Febvre, last time you raced the Motocross of Nations here was back in 2015. You went 1-1, you won the open class. You guys were on the top step of the podium. Nice memories, hey?
Yeah, sure. 2015 was my first time at the selection in France, so yeah, won both moto. Remember that time, it was incredible, and yeah, it will be good to be the same, to do the same this weekend, but I will try my best, and already if we can win, the goal is to win with the team, and for sure if I can perform myself really well, then yeah, I will do it, so yeah, let's go.
Yeah, Roman, Jason Thomas in the studio, came up just a little bit short of the World Championship this year, which was of course the goal. If you were able to win the Motocross of Nations this weekend, would that cap a successful 2023 season? Would that change a little bit of the narrative of not winning the World Championship?
Yeah, not really, but you know, I was, yeah, you say a little bit, but I was quite far because I missed a round, so yeah, anyway, my season was really good. I was happy with second overall, of course, and then yeah, now it's over. I don't think about it anymore, and just to perform good at the nation, like I said, to win. The goal is to win with Team France, but yeah, I'm on the same class as Jet and some other good riders, so yeah, you know how it will go, huh? So yeah, let's go.
Good luck to you.
Thanks, Roman. Have a good weekend.
Wow. The craziness has begun. Let's come back to our studio, hopefully the quiet confines of our studio now, with me, Paul Malin, and Jason Thomas. Not sure how long we have left in time, maybe about 2.5 minutes. But Jason, fantastic way to kick things off, as always. The crowd have done their part. They're here for Team France, but it's not going to be a walk in the park. There are a lot of teams this year waiting in the wings to pick up the pieces should they trip up.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of different aspects to it. I could sense that Roman wants to go beat Jet and prove that he's the best rider in the world. You know, there's still some tension there with the World Championship. He was on such a win streak. I think he felt like he could have been world champion this year had things gone a little bit differently. So there's a team aspect. France wants to win again, but I think for some of these riders, there's a lot of individual aspects and things that they want to prove this weekend.
And who are the standout teams for you?
For me, it's between the French and the Australians.
Okay. Could you see America getting on the podium?
I think they have an outside chance to win if things go their way, but just on paper, that's not how racing works, I know, but the French and the Australians just have so much firepower.
All right, well, look, it has been a fantastic Friday here at the 76th edition of the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations. It's been a full day of commitments. We've had press conferences, team presentations, we've had all kinds of announcements up there as well, and of course, we finished the day, ended the day on a high with this Riders Parade. From me, Paul Malin, and Jason Thomas. We are here all weekend, calling all the races live, starting tomorrow with the MXGP qualifying race, of course, and then MX2, and then the Open class, and then again on Sunday with the B final and all of the main races. We also have the Yamaha YZ Blue Crew Super Finale. I'll be calling those races by myself. We've got 65, 85 tomorrow and 125 on Sunday, but it's a packed weekend. It's going to be electrifying. I hope you enjoy it. I'm already getting goosebumps. What about you?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think I'm a little bit less nervous than typical, but it's going to be a great weekend.
All right, well, look, we are out of time. Team France, all the eyes on them this weekend. But as we said, a lot of other teams waiting in the wings. But we are out of time. Thanks for watching today. We'll see you live tomorrow on MXGPTV.com for all of the action for this 76th edition of the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations. We'll see you then.
Regardez bien, Sébastien Poirier, c'est le seul qui n'a pas gagné une course avec nous en championnat du monde, mais il en a fait gagner beaucoup aux autres. Donc, et il mérite de faire les courses de temps en temps également. Mais bon, ça c'est un autre débat. Plus sérieusement, on est ravis de retrouver ces garçons-là. On va se tourner vers les supporters, s'il vous plaît. Marvin Musquin qui est là. Marvin, que de souvenirs.